Hello, everyone. My name is Joshua Dullaghan. My pronouns are he, him, and I am the Assistant Dean of Instruction and Student Affairs for the Rausser College of Natural Resources. You're going to hear a lot more from me in a little bit. We have kind of three sections that we're going to present to you, and then we're going to go into a Q&A and answer the questions that you have. But to start off, I am happy to introduce our Associate Dean of Instruction and Student Affairs, Professor Kate O'Neill, who will give a little welcome. Kate?
Okay, thank you, Josh. And it's great to be here and know that you're all listening and watching to find out about Rausser College. So my name is Kate O'Neill. My pronouns are she, hers, and I am both an Associate Dean of Instruction and Student Affairs and a professor in the Department of Environmental Science, Policy and Management. As Associate Dean, I help with the advising office, our wonderful advisors in Rausser College, to make sure that they are doing the best work they can and get their best possible resources. As a professor, I teach international environmental politics, and my research is on the local and global politics of waste and recycling. So anything from what gets shipped to China to what gets put in Berkeley trash cans, and often that's the same thing. Okay, so in those two roles, I wear a lot of hats. I will add as a professor, I teach. As well as teaching, I do research, I supervise graduate students, but most of all, I love working with undergrads. So I've been asked to address the question of why you should consider Rausser College of Natural Resources, and I can give a couple of answers before I pass it along. One is your fellow students. I think the students in Rausser College across all majors are just really great people. People are out to do wonderful things and save the world and help each other and uplift each other throughout your 2 to 4 years in the program. And I love keeping in touch and seeing what people go on to do, and I believe it's a very vibrant community. I also, of course, would recommend our world-class faculty. We have people who work on important, world-changing research that's also fun and engaging, from waste to food and agriculture to fire and wildfire, spiders, urban forestry, environmental justice, health and development, coastal ecosystems. Those are just kind of a few right off the top of my head. There are many, many more. You can look at the various department websites. Rausser also offers a lot of field and research opportunities. We have something called the Sponsored Program for Undergraduate Research, which is a program specifically, excuse me, for Rausser College students who want to create their own projects or work with faculty and graduate students on their projects. Excuse me. We also have a summer internship program and many other research opportunities. We also have a number of field courses, one of which takes you to the tropical island of Moorea to study coastal ecosystems and enable you to do research there. So there are a lot of different reasons why academically, socially, and just around about the world that you want to be here at Rausser College. We have a couple of ways we describe ourselves. One is we are a small college on a huge campus. So we are one of the 5 colleges that are sort of dotted around the campus and are separate from the huge Letters and Science College. And we aim to sort of build on that experience by giving you advising resources, one advisor throughout your whole time there, maybe a different person, but there is always someone in that role, an amazing resource center, and lots of programs and events. And just to connect with what I've been saying about the mission of the college, of faculty, staff, undergraduates, and graduate students, is we kind of live that see the bigger picture, make a better world, which is kind of the motto of the college, and is something that everyone is able to help follow through on every day of our studies. So I really hope to be able to greet you when you arrive, and good luck with your decision making. And with that, I will pass it back to Assistant Dean Dullaghan.
Thank you, Kate. Welcome back again. My name is Joshua Dullaghan. Pronouns are he, him. And my role as Assistant Dean of Instruction and Student Affairs largely means that I coordinate our college's advising team. So we have a set of advisors that are specific to the college that are both college and major advisors. This is different than the other colleges at UC Berkeley, in which a lot of times the college and major advisor are two different people. But many years ago, the college decided that it was really important for students to have a one-stop shop and be able to provide that service in one place. And so we have a wonderful student resource center where students are able to study, use our computer lab, and also meet with their advisor and see their advisors being really wonderful people. What I'm going to start off with today is to talk a little bit about, give an overview of the major opportunities and other college opportunities that exist within Rausser College. So Rausser College offers 9 majors. And those majors span biological sciences, social sciences, ecosystem management, and interdisciplinary studies. We offer 4 biological science majors, and they are genetics and plant biology, which is the study of the distribution and diversity of the plant life from the submolecular to the organismal level. We offer microbial biology, which is the study of microbes, and that includes bacteria, fungi, algae, protozoa, and viruses. Our third biology major is molecular environmental biology, which is a study of the organization and function of biological organisms at the molecular, organismal, and ecological levels. That major has 6 concentrations within it. The previous 2 had 4. So there's even sort of sub-splitting within those majors depending upon what interests you have in biology. Our 4th biology major is nutrition and metabolic biology, which is the study of biochemical and physiological study of nutrition utilization. The department in which NMB lives within recently started a master's program in dietetics, which is a stepping stone for those that want to become a registered dietitian. And these 4 majors make up our biological sciences. And a lot of our students are considering pre-health, pre-med, pre-nursing, pre-vet, optometry, dentistry, all the pre-health majors, or all the biological majors have an element of, have an area where they can be focused on the human experience, and therefore, or even the animal experience for those who are looking to go pre-vet, and be a stepping stone to that graduate study work. We have 2 social science majors, environmental economics and policy, which explores the aspects of economic and political institutions that affect the development and management of natural resources. I've heard we use a lot of acronyms, so environmental economics and policy we refer to as EAP, and our EAP advisor sometimes refers to it as an applied economics major. So you're not only are you getting the economics theory, and but you're also getting sort of a context to put it in and to be able to explore it. Our 2nd social sciences major is society and environment. And that introduces the main approaches and theory of environmental social sciences, including how social science tools can be applied to environmental problems and how social science theories can contribute to the understanding of environmental problems. That major has 3 concentrations, ranging from US environmental policy and management to global and environmental politics, and lastly, justice and sustainability. Not surprisingly, a lot of our society environment students are considering pre-law as the next path to their steps in terms of looking at environmental justice issues. Then we have our ecosystem management major, which is ecosystem management and forestry. This focuses on the conservation and restoration of the Earth's natural resources through hands-on study. There are 2 specializations within this major, one of which is forestry. Forestry major students go through an 8-week intensive called Forestry Camp as part of their studies, and that's a stepping stone to becoming a registered professional forester. The other specialization is natural resource management. So, still getting the same foundational experience as the forestry students, does not require the intensive, and for some of our students who are interested in this area in natural resource management and forestry, but are unable to get away for 8 weeks during the summer, we have student parents, we have those with other obligations. This is another path that they could potentially pursue that major. Lastly, we have two interdisciplinary studies majors, one of which is environmental sciences. This studies the interaction between human activities and biological and physical environments on all scales, from local to global. And so that has three concentrations: biological science, social science, and physical science. And students will pick a path to sort of follow to go through, but it all ends up at a senior course in which they do a year-long course creating a senior thesis project. And that's sort of the culminating experience of the environmental science major, and very unique to that major. Last and certainly not least is our conservation and resource studies major. This is an interdisciplinary program designed for students interested in environmental issues and areas of interaction. So as part of this major, it's sort of thinking like almost a little bit like a design your own major. Students are guided as they approach their sophomore and junior year to creating an area of interest. So looking at the intersection of multiple things with environmentalism, and that could be many of the other departments here at the UC Berkeley campus. The students kind of construct their own major depending upon how they want to view these intersections, taking courses from, say, sociology, from ethnic studies, from, we had a major use Spanish literature as one of the intersections. There's lots of different permutations that you can do, almost infinite, to creating your area of interest. And so those are our 9 majors. We also have 9 minors, which I'm not going to go into right now, but they're kind of shorter versions of the majors. You can explore those on our website. And so that makes up sort of our academic major program. We also have a wide breadth of co-curricular opportunities, which Kate touched upon earlier in our presentation today. So one of which is the sponsored program for undergraduate research, also known as SPUR. SPUR is sort of a way for students to access research with our amazing faculty within the college. And it's specifically for Rausser College students. Those who are not Rausser College students cannot apply for these opportunities. And it comes kind of in 2 flavors. So one is faculty initiated. So our faculty come and post what they're looking for in terms of work within their laboratories, explaining their research, and students can apply to join that laboratory to conduct student research. It's a great way for students to just get introduced to research. There's no experience required most of the time, and it's meant to be a discovery experience. The other flavor of SPUR is student initiated. So once students gather their research skills, their ability to run their own experiments, they have the ability to apply for funding in order to create their own student research. And we have many students that do that in the tail end of their junior and senior year, and can use some of their funding to go travel to go do research. One that I'm thinking of, sorry, the memory of this research experience popped in my head just as I was explaining it. So like, for example, one of our students in their honors thesis used this student-initiated SPUR project in order to travel to Mexico to study how DNA was traveling through a river in a natural reserve there, and how they could use sort of those DNA fragments to see how animals were migrating through the reserve. Really fascinating research project that I still remember the presentation for, obviously. But that's one way that students can sort of activate the SPUR project to getting into their own research interests. Kate also mentioned we have a summer internship grant. So for students who are doing applying to do internships during the summer, as we all know, some internships are unpaid, and that could be a very hard financial hardship for some students to go a couple months without being paid during the summer, maybe even be impossible. And so what the summer internship grant does is enable students to be able to take advantage of those internships, and we provide funding that can support them in terms of their living expenses, their food, things like that, their rent. And one of the things that we ask, though, is that the internship is related to diversity, equity, inclusion, and how does the internship really sort of facilitate that? And there's many different ways that can take place, but that's one of our requirements. We also have a conference travel grant for our students who are creating their own research and are deciding, hey, I'm going to apply to a conference in order to present my research there, either through a poster session or through a PowerPoint presentation. If they're accepted into that conference, they can apply to our travel grant, and we can help facilitate some of, or help with the funding in terms of airfare and hotel costs and things like that. You're going to hear very shortly for some of our peer advising leaders. We have a peer advising program in which 14 of our current Rausser students serve as peer advisors. They work in tandem with our advising unit, and they really provide that sort of experience of a seasoned Rausser College student to new students. As amazing as my advising team is, and they're quite amazing, none of us, actually, I can't say that now, all but one of us never attended Cal. We don't know what it's like to take a UC Berkeley course firsthand. We do have one advisor now who is a Berkeley alum, and we sort of have definitely taken advantage of that resource in terms of her knowledge. But that's where the peer advisors come in. They're able to talk about, most recently, about which courses to take, which ones maybe were difficult, which ones were fascinating, which professors were, really accessible, and give that feedback to students as they're figuring out their course schedule. Lastly, I will mention there are some unique field education and study abroad opportunities. Kate mentioned our program in Moorea. This is an island in French Polynesia. So if you're familiar with Tahiti or Bora Bora, it's the same island chain that makes up the country of French Polynesia. And there are 2 different programs that take place in the fall and spring semester. The fall one is more of an independent research base, sort of in which students go there and create their own research projects. And the spring semester one is more structured, and it's about island sustainability and guides students through sort of research process of being able to gather data and sort of assess how to maintain a sustainability within an island. The second field experience, which is I've mentioned before, is forestry camp. And this is an 8-week intensive. And one of our peer advisors who is gone will talk a little bit about this, I'm sure. But it's a great experience near Quincy, California. And our students live for 8 weeks at our forestry camp up there. And they learn the practical skills of forestry, everything from measurements to collecting scientific data, and in the end, generating a report regarding the health of a specific swath of land within the forestry camp region. So that kind of sums up many of our co-curricular opportunities. We're definitely looking to do more and expand more, but that just gives sort of a taste of that. I will say that, I started UC Berkeley many years ago. I've been here with UC Berkeley for almost 17 years. The last almost 5 years have been with the Rausser College of Natural Resources. And this has been probably the most inspiring role that I've had, mainly because of our students. As I mentioned, across those 9 majors, students are studying all sorts of different aspects of the environment. And then they're also coming together to solve those problems. They're coming at it from very unique perspectives of either being an economist or a social scientist or a biological scientist, but they do come together to sort of, look at problems and approach them from different lenses, which I think is so fascinating. I hope you do too. And if that interests you, then I hope that you will consider us further. I'm going to ask for our peer advisors to come online, and what we're going to do is have them introduce themselves, and they can say their name, their pronouns, their major, maybe the city where you went to high school, so we know where you came from before you came to Cal, and then we'll go into just 4 questions, one at a time. I'll moderate, and then after the 4 questions, we will switch over to the Q&A and see what questions may still exist out there in the Q&A. So if you haven't already done so, if you have a question that you want to ask anonymously or otherwise, you can put that into the Q&A and we'll get to it in just a few minutes. But I'm going to start with Emily. Emily, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yes, of course. Hi, my name is Emily. I'm majoring in nutritional sciences, and like Josh was saying, I'm one of our peer advisors here. I use the she, her pronouns, and I went to high school in Agoura Hills, which is in Los Angeles County, so down in Southern California.
Thank you, Emily. And Sonia?
Hi everyone, I'm Senya. I'm also one of our peer advisors. I use any pronouns, and I'm double majoring in kind of a mouthful, genetics and plant biology, and in ecosystems management and forestry, both majors within Rausser College. And I am originally from San Diego, California. That's where I went to high school as well.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm from San Diego too. Go San Diego. Okay. My first question is, what did you think UC Berkeley and Rausser College were going to be like before you arrived? And how were those expectations either met or not met once you arrived?
I can start us off. So, honestly, coming in to Berkeley as an undergraduate freshman, I had a lot of hesitancies and was kind of worried about the academic rigor of our university. I was worried it might be very competitive or cutthroat, things like that. But I was definitely pleasantly surprised to find how supportive the environment was here, especially being in Rausser College. I think provided a whole another exceptional level of support. Our advising staff is truly so incredible, and my major advisor Jay has been such a wonderful help, and we're very lucky to have these resources. Um, yeah, I've also just found like throughout my classes and everything, students really aren't trying to compete with each other. People genuinely want to collaborate and work together and help uplift each other through like study groups and just like forming those types of connections as well. So that was my, I guess, kind of initial expectations, and how that reality was actually quite very different, pleasantly.
Yeah, I definitely say very similar to Emily. Definitely heard a lot before coming about how like competitive and cutthroat and like always like like everyone up against each other all the time. Like I really heard a lot about that regards to Berkeley like as a whole. But also like the couple people I'd talked to who were in RCNR, I spoke with a peer advisor actually when I was making my college choices, and then someone I knew who had attended, both Rausser students, and I really heard from them a lot about what I initially thought was, oh, like, they're just saying that or like it's just cheesy, but about how like Rausser really was like a family and how everyone, you really do kind of get to know everyone. It's a much smaller environment and a lot more collaborative. And it feels kind of cozy. It's like, a lot of us are in the same buildings all the time. We're in a lot of the same classes together. So you really get to know people in your major and in your college. So that was kind of the expectation I had for CNR, and it really did live up to that. I found a lot of really great friends in the college, and even just like acquaintances or people that I see all the time. Like it really makes it feel like a much smaller school than Berkeley is, like with the number of people I run into all the time and like say hi to in the hallways. I didn't really expect that, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, our dean frequently says that even though the number might seem very big, it's obviously much bigger than your high school. Berkeley still feels like a small place. And then you add Rausser on top of that, and it's like even a smaller place. We just had a dinner with the dean's event in which the dean has a meal with a small group of students every month, and got to have a very interesting conversation with one of our transfer students. And lo and behold, the next day I'm crossing campus trying to get to a meeting and bump into her as she's riding her scooter across, and we both wave to each other, and it's like, oh, even that's a small world. So let's see. So my next question for you all is, what has been your favorite course at Rausser College that you have taken?
I would say for me, it was a class I took last semester. It was an upper division nutrition course. And I'll also say I've thoroughly enjoyed all of the upper divs, especially I've taken in Rausser in general. But this one particularly stood out, and it was a class about nutrition in the community. And I'm a nutrition major, as I said, and also pre-medicine. So used to a lot of the more STEM heavy kind of intense courses like that. So this really provided kind of a really cool and different look into nutrition that I had seen before. And we kind of evaluated it in the sense of like different policies in the city of Berkeley and like UC Berkeley in specific, talking about dining halls. Yeah, and kind of just like the connection between nutrition and, well, I guess community, and talking about like food insecurity, um, quite a wide range of topics. But I found the professor to be um, amazing, and it was just super interesting and unlike anything I had taken before.
I feel like definitely kind of hard to pick one class, but I would have to say like maybe the most unique one I've taken that I really enjoyed was an environmental science policy management department class called Fire Ecology. It was SPM 181A with Professor Scott Stevens, and it was a really, really cool, unique experience. Not a class I can really imagine getting the chance to take anywhere else. We had the opportunity to go as a class and like participate in a prescribed burn, so fire for like intentional fire for management practices. We got to learn how to like model fires, the tools that like firefighting departments work or use both in wildland and in structural fire. And it was just a really cool chance to get to learn about like the history of fire in California and how it's become such an issue today, but wasn't as much in the past, and kind of how we can return to a beneficial way of using fire in our landscapes. And it was a really awesome class, super passionate professor. And also really cool to learn from a professor who's like built a lot of the tools that are widely used. So it was a really awesome experience and a super fun, like very small class, which was a really cool opportunity as well.
Thank you. Do you have some favorite things that you've been able to participate in Rausser College that maybe are related to classes? Maybe you could list those other courses you were thinking of, or I don't know if any of you have. I mean, obviously your peer advisors, and maybe you've done research opportunities or maybe internships that are even outside of Rausser College, maybe at UC Berkeley. But what have maybe been like one of maybe your 1 to 3 favorite things that you've experienced so far?
This past summer, I had a super incredible experience being able to study abroad in Greece and do a kind of nutrition focused program, which was really amazing. And this was open to all UC Berkeley students, but definitely had a concentration on nutrition and like satisfied major requirements I needed and things like that. So that was super cool and super special. It was a small program of only about 30 students, and we lived on the island of Chios for a month, and kind of had lectures and then like would go out and do field experience and go on field trips and all these different things every other day. And lunch was like part of our class and the experience, getting to fully experience and embrace the Mediterranean diet. So that was super special, getting to try all of this wonderful dishes and like enjoy the family style meals like they do there, feeling very immersed into the culture, which was really fun. And other than that, something unique to Rausser College that I'm not sure, or I don't believe the other colleges do, are community building events, which is really fun. And we have, I think, several every semester going on. Sonia just hosted one not too long ago. I'll let her share about that. But they can either be social or like targeted to get students to interact with advisors more. But kind of a variety of different fun events and things just to further promote that like smaller college feel and get Rausser College students to interact with each other more and build those relationships. I remember before I had become a peer advisor, there was, I think, a pumpkin painting one, which was really fun, and a one where they brought in therapy dogs and they had like dog snacks and human snacks as well, which was really fun. And yeah, and then I've honestly loved the opportunity of being able to be a peer advisor as well. It's been such a special experience getting able to become closer with our advising staff and also to form even more close connections with other students, with all of our fellow peer advisors, which has been really fun. This is both Sonia and I's second year being a peer advisor because we enjoyed it so much the first year. Yeah, and it's just a really special experience getting the opportunity to help other students, and the little things like having them come back to you after you've offered them advising and hearing updates about their lives and things they've gotten involved with that you've suggested and stuff like that. So yeah, those are just a few things of the many amazing Rausser experiences I've had.
Yeah, I for sure have had like a lot of experiences I really enjoyed. One of the biggest ones, not this past summer, but the summer before, I had the opportunity to go to what Josh mentioned earlier, but I went to forestry camp. It was super incredible experience, 8 weeks in the Sierra Nevada, doing field courses, learning about everything there is to know about forest ecology, forest management practices, all culminating in one final management project where we had a tract of land that they basically set us free on, and they were like, all right, take all your measurements, do all your surveys, and then write like 100 years worth of management plans for. And it was very intense and an incredible experience. I got to learn so much. It was a group of I think 35 of us, so pretty small group. Very remote, very disconnected. There's like one building with Wi-Fi and no service anywhere, which was a super fun opportunity to kind of, like go back to nature, go back to roots, like take walks outside. Just a super cool experience. And I learned so much. There's just so much incredible knowledge crammed into there. There's a whole 3 weeks of the first class is different guest lecturers and experts in their fields coming to talk about different areas of ecology. And it was a really, really awesome experience. I've also really enjoyed, I've participated in SPUR faculty initiated to start, and I'll be participating in student initiated this coming spring semester. And I've really, really loved just doing research within the college. I work in a lab in the environmental sciences department, studying forest and woodland ecology and genetics. And I've really, really enjoyed it. I got started in the lab through a faculty SPUR application, but have stayed on as a lab technician doing paid work, and then also doing my own independent research project that I'm going to be starting writing my honors thesis for, and then also very excitingly, I'm having the opportunity to publish, which is a super cool opportunity and not one I could imagine having gotten outside of RCNR. And it's been really great getting to work that closely with faculty and grad students and really get like a better perspective of like what I want to do with my life after and my interest in grad school. And then also, yes, being a peer advisor has been a really amazing experience. It's made me a lot more involved in the college, which I would already say I was pretty involved. I spent a lot of time in a lot of student organizations that I've really enjoyed. But being a peer advisor was a super awesome way to like branch out and connect with people across the college and not just in my majors. And I've really loved it, especially, yeah, hosting community building events. I did one this past spring that was like a flower arranging workshop that was super fun. We just had an enrollment and postcard making session where we all got together and did collages and watercolor and got to talk to Templar scheduler about upcoming enrollment. And it's just been a super great experience to get to know other RCNR students, both in and outside the classroom.
Thank you. And you touched upon grad school, and I've heard also pre-med. Do you want to talk a little bit about your post-graduation plans for right now? Where they may stand right now?
Yes, so both Sonia and I are seniors right now. Oh, junior? Sorry, my bad. Um, well, I'm a senior, so postgrad is very quickly approaching for me. And the end goal is to go to medical school, hopefully eventually. But ideally, I will be taking 2 gap years or more if needed before that, hoping to just get some work experience, hopefully doing something clinical, and hands-on, getting those patient interactions in, and yeah, going from there. I have no idea what kind of doctor I want to be or any specifics, but for now, I believe I would like to pursue something in medicine and patient care.
Yeah, my plan as of right now is I'm planning on applying to grad school starting. Yeah, I'm in my third year, so I'll be applying next cycle to uh, both masters, but primarily doctoral programs. Planning on starting in the fall of 2026, and I'm hoping to do some kind of research combining my two majors, which has been my favorite part of my research so far, has been getting to work with both forest management and in adaptive genetics. So I'm hoping to apply to programs in adaptive forestry and looking at how we can apply like genetic techniques to forestry and to make our forests more resilient to climate change, which is a field that's very up and coming right now. Not a ton of study has been done into it before, but there's a lot of labs starting to look into that, the one I'm in right now included. And not too many plans for after that. I have quite a bit of time, but I think I would like to at some point come back to working in the university setting.
We hope that you will consider Rausser College. I hope you have seen kind of what a special place it is within the many different colleges that you have as options within UC Berkeley. And hopefully we'll get to meet some of you in the fall semester or in a future year. So thank you so much for coming.